Hey, what's going on, peoples? This is LBThaRealist with Surrealistic Studios once again. And in this video, I just wanted to go ahead and give my reaction to the Real Progressives interview that was with our good friend Jared H. Beck. For those of you who don't know, Jared H. Beck, along with Elizabeth Beck, is his wife, and they are the attorneys that are championing the DNC fraud lawsuit case. So, if you don't know who Jared H. Beck is, he's the one right there. Yep. We also have Benjamin Dixon. He's from the Progressive Army, or the Benjamin Dixon Show. Great respect for him. And also Mike Sainato. Great respect for Mike Sainato. He's with Real Progressives, and he's the one that basically hosted this meeting, this interview, and kind of basically moderated, so to speak. But all in all, I think it was excellent. I won't play the full thing because it's over an hour long. It's an hour and 7 minutes and 41 seconds. So I'll leave the description. I'll leave the link in the description if you guys want to view that yourself. But I just wanted to go ahead and give my thoughts on it. Now, initially, I watched a Twitter beef between Jared and Benjamin Dixon. And it left me with some questions about Benjamin Dixon and his thoughts on the whole DNC lawsuit together as a whole, and as well as the Seth Rich investigation, which they did not mention in this interview. Just a note, they didn't mention the Seth Rich investigation at all. But I would imagine that if they were to bring that up, it would have been a disagreement. Not to say that that's bad, just to say that maybe that's not what the focus of this particular interview was for. This was specifically in regards to the DNC fraud lawsuit. But with that being said, the reason why I bring that up is because initially I thought that there was going to be issues between Jared Beck and Ben Dixon, and in fact they were awesome. They were awesome. They showed very high levels of professionalism, respect for each other, and they were able to basically get through to each other. Ben Dixon actually got through to Jared and got Jared to realize, maybe I shouldn't be going so hard on Twitter. And he admitted, he was like, I get a little fiery on Twitter, not in his words, so to speak, but he was like, I get a little fiery on Twitter, but it's because, I'm passionate, and Ben Dixon was like, you would be, basically his point is, you would be better off to not go so hard on Twitter and to just focus on the case, because he has respect for him, and he believes that the DNC fraud lawsuit is very important for progressives, for Democrats, for the whole country, for the world. As a matter of fact, this is for the betterment of the whole world as a whole, whether you guys want to believe that or not. And this is about the integrity of our election system. It's about the so-called responsibility of the DNC to stay impartial. This is about accountability. This is more than just money. Although it's a lot about money too. A lot of people gave their arms and legs, believing that Bernie actually had a chance. And what they're saying is they can go and smoke-filled back rooms, smoke cigars, and pick the candidates that way, and they don't give a shit. So if that's the case, then that undermines our whole political process. That undermines our whole political process. If that's how you pick your candidates, and furthermore, you're a fraudulent organization, and you should be locked up for stealing people's money under false terms. If it's right there in your DNC charter or your agreement that you should stay impartial and unbiased, then that's what you should abide by. And if you break that rule, the rules in which you put forth, you should be held responsible and liable, and there should be consequences for that. You shouldn't be able to get away with that. Anybody else breaks rules and we go to jail. You defraud somebody out of money and we go to prison. But nothing happens to the DNC. Okay, moving on. So I thought that was cool that Jared and Ben were able to mend that relationship. I mean, it was just a Twitter war. Anything can go down on Twitter. But I'm glad that when they actually, got on an interview together, they kept it cordial, they were respectful, And I have more of respect for Benjamin Dixon now. I have to admit I didn't watch too much of his stuff. I don't know why. I don't know. He seems like he has sort of a conservative tone. I don't know. It's weird. It's just weird. I'm not calling him conservative. I don't have enough information about Ben Dixon to give a really good opinion on him. But I didn't like how initially, in one of his videos I watched, one video I did watch, he talked about Seth Rich, and he mentioned that to the extent that if you were to talk about this or promote the Seth Rich conspiracy, then you're an asshole and you deserve to go to hell or some shit like that. And I didn't really like that comment too much. Maybe I took it too personally, possibly. But I don't really like his views as far as that's concerned. I think he's drinking the conspiracy Democratic Kool-Aid, you know what I'm saying? Just telling them to hush up and it's all about the family's respect. And no, that's bullshit, okay? We all respect the family. Anybody who respects the family wants to know exactly what happened. And anybody that tries to hush anybody else up about it does not respect the family. And you're not a free thinker. You're a follower and you're a sheep. I'm not calling Ben Dixon that. I'm just saying that if that's how people truly feel, then that's what it seems like to me. Anyways. But I was glad that they were able to mend that. In the interview, Ben Dixon actually comes up with a lot of good points that he throws at Jared in regards to the case. He brings up the fact that, well, you know, can the lawyers for the DNC bring up the fact that we knew that the DNC was already corrupt and that we knew that it was rigged? And Jared basically responded that, well, a bigger question is, how do you differentiate between people believing that the DNC is already rigged and from people actually having empirical evidence and actually knowing that the DNC is rigged? So that was always the point in my head. Like, yeah, we have suspicions. We have very strong suspicions that the DNC is rigged. And a lot of us believe that it is, but at the same time, we don't have evidence. We don't have, well, we didn't have evidence until recently. That was before we decided to give to Bernie Sanders. Trust me, if I knew that my money was just going to get swallowed, nobody would have donated to Bernie Sanders. Nobody would have donated. We've been like, no, he absolutely has no chance. But we were fooled and conned into believing that he actually did when he decided to run as a Democrat. So Ben Dixon actually brings up a couple of more points. Really good counterpoints. I respect Ben Dixon because he thinks in the way of the adversary. He thinks, what is my enemy going to say? You know what I'm saying? What are they going to say that's going to counteract whatever I have to say? And I must admit that Ben Dixon threw out some curveballs, but Jared Beck came back explosive. He came back very strong. Like, this dude, Jared, he's ready. He is ready. He's been practicing. You know what I'm saying? He's been on point. Go watch this. I'm gonna leave the link in the description, like I said below. If you had any questions or concerns as far as what the opposition might say in regards to the DNC fraud lawsuit, watch this, and he'll give you. This interview is a great insight on the things that are being said within the court, and they actually mention that you can read the court documents that are online. So I'm going to check that out too. I might actually leave that in the description after I start to upload this, because it takes a minute for me to upload videos. But yeah, it was an awesome interview. Thank you, Mike Sainato, for bringing this all together, because it was very informative. And if you guys had watched the Twitter beef between Jared and Ben, you probably watched this video kind of cautious, like, I wonder what they're gonna say. I wonder what's gonna happen. But they were awesome. I got more of a respect for Ben Dixon. Like I said, I don't know too much about him, but I have more of a respect for him now. And yeah, you guys go ahead and check it out. You know, like this video if you like, share, subscribe if you haven't before, because I would love for you to stick around with us. Follow me on all social media, Twitter especially, because I got like 30 Twitter followers or whatever. And yeah, love, peace, and chicken grease. Also, I'm gonna leave the petition for Seth Rich in the description as well. Please sign that and show your support for that, as well as the website that was introduced not made by Kim.com, but introduced by Kim.com. There was a contest. He gave him $1,000 supposedly, and it's a really good website. So if you want more information on Seth Rich and that whole thing, then go ahead and look in the description, and I'll leave a link for that. All right. So next time, love, peace, chicken grease, my peace.